last, very last video for the night. Too tired. Okay, now this video, very quickly, is about Gamergate, whether or not we're interested in the social justice warriors or the journalists, ethics um, or misogyny or whatever. There is something that I wanted to actually get away from, because I think the answer should be there for anyone with any kind of research. But then you get someone like David Peckman, who has done a show, and he still comes up kind of, shrugging and going, I'm not really sure which way. And you think, Jesus, mate, how do you not get this? So anyhow, if anyone's struggling to understand where or what's gone on, or who or what is involved in it at this point, and there will be arguments about where what started in the scheme of things, or what importance, or which part of the movement's involved in what, or it's just so stupid. So okay, here we go. I'll try and get through this really quickly, because I've only got 15 minutes, and yeah, the more time I ramble, the more tighter I'll get, and I'll start talking left-hand or something. So here we go. Okay, long period of time, very concerned about journalistic integrity, very long dissatisfaction from the gamers, and this has been brought on very much by the fact that the kind of journalistic reporting and reviews and things like this were very much by people who were basically gamers themselves, and who had a love of the gaming, I guess the gaming sphere, and were very tight with the gaming crowd. Over the years, that's kind of fallen away, and these clickbait people just trying to get the story out have chosen to go by way of basically using the gamers just simply for getting a lot of hits. So they'd write horrible, shitty pieces, get a lot of clicks, basically not have that respect for the gamers, or that community involvement. They were much more interested in the gaming people, so that, and also their advertisers. So basically, while they were writing for the gamers and what have you, they weren't really writing for the gamers. They were writing for themselves, and to basically get clickbait, a lot of clicks to their site. So anyhow, but the way that they've treated gamers consistently for a long time has been a problem. But there was also suspicion of journalistic integrity problems. Now the burgers and fries hashtag, or five guys and burgers, or whatever the hell it's called, and the conspiracy hashtag was very much about Zoe Quinn and her relationship, or whatever the hell it was. I came in pretty late into the piece, but I got the gist of it there. And there were people talking about crap, or basically it's all salacious gossip. And so there were some people talking about that on both those two hashtags. And my understanding is that all finished up. Adam Baldwin came along, and he saw the fact that some of the people involved tended to highlight that there might have been some kind of collusion or problem with gaming journalism, and the ties that it had with the gaming community and so on, and the impropriety that seemed to suggest. Okay, now at this point, not going to say who said what and who, what of those particular claims were true because people denounced it and that. It really doesn't matter. And I've said this before, it really doesn't matter because this is what was suspected. So he made this hashtag brand new out of that belief system, and some people joined it. It's obviously a lot of people by now, thousands of people. How many of those were involved in the initial things? No idea. No idea, and I don't think anyone would know. Is it based upon that? No. It's based upon the understanding that there was some collusion or had the appearance of that. Fortunately, that was confirmed to be not at all outside of the truth of things, because Milo had uncovered the Game Journals Pro. Okay, so the list there and some of the conversations in there very much pointed to that. It's not even really up for question or doubt, as much as people might want to put their fingers in their ears and say, it's not true, it's not true, I can't hear you. That's really the case of it. So that was proved. Now, the fact that they say, okay, well, we draw on that initial assumption of impropriety within the industry based on Zoe Quinn's relationships with, an appearance of relationships with the people who would review her or what have you there appears to be that. So that's something that has been hinted at us for a very long time. We think that this is something that we can sink our teeth into and to draw out of that, to say, okay, here is something, this particular position, impropriety within the thing, very undefined set of conduct. This is what we want to draw on. Now, what's that actually got to do with her personally? Nothing really to do with her personally or any of the other players as such, but rather the impropriety and positions, the framework, the conduct. That is something that we're saying, okay, so this is a problem. And then when they come up with the Game Journals Pro, well, it's on. It's all really just been brought up. It's smoking gun. It's like, okay, well, we were really beating about the bush here just to see if there's anything in it, see if anything came out, and here it is. Here's everything. So that's really what it's about there. Now, social justice warriors, where did they come into it? Okay, so Anita, about a year ago, had done her tropes video, and we all know that she said she was a gamer and then denounced, at a university when she thought she wasn't going to get recorded, that she wasn't a gamer at all. So she's, obviously a complete liar, and I don't think that's up for question. I don't think she's got really any defence to that. And nor should she have. I mean, you may as well just put up your hand. Not that she will. She never ever argues against anyone. Is basically a coward too, as far as I can see. That's my personal opinion. I think she's a coward. But anyhow, that all said and done, where does she come into things there? Well, she did her tropes thing. And, obviously that put a lot of gamers off. There's also, obviously, like with Gamergate, third-party trolls. In our case, they're attacking both sides at the moment. People getting death threats on both sides and doxing, and it's disgusting. And I think that's all third-party trolls attacking both sides and playing us off against each other for shits and giggles. But anyhow, I think the same thing probably happened with this, with Anita Sarkeesian a year ago with the tropes thing, but she hasn't forgotten that. And of course, still makes those comments, the game is misogynist and all of that, the rest of that. However, the gaming journalists, when we were doing all of this talk about Gamergate and came up with the Game Journals Pro, they got really shitty. However, they had an ally, the allies, the social justice warriors. Both are wanting to change the industry. I think that they're quite happy to, the journalists are quite happy to be the megaphone the voice, to give these social justice warriors a voice. Um, Obviously, they're not policing themselves. They can do as they like without reprimand, without any consequence. And the social justice warriors are saying, okay, well, look, we're wanting to, and we've got an enemy here. It's a gamer. They're horrible, horrible people. What say you? Oh, yes, the gaming media say, yep, that they are. They're terrible, terrible. We have to. Um, they're our readers. We hate our readers. We've always hated them. We actually just like game developers. Oh, really? You like game developers? Well, we've got some social justice warrior game developers too, and we want to change the industry so that they don't have to compete um, for well, with everyone else. We want to be able to change the industry and not have it as a meritocracy. We know at the moment something like Bayonetta is going to get huge popularity, and rightfully so. It's a brilliant game. But we want something like Depression Quest. See, Zoe's piece here, it's got, we gave it an award because it's about depression. That's a social issue, and but we can't see that that would be socially viable. So we want to be able to change the industry so that we can get developers like Zoe to really thrive. And we want to be able to inject all games with social issues and have more representation and that kind of thing. But we don't want to have this mindless rabble dictate how we're going to, what's of value. We want to be able to determine what's of value. We don't want them to say that Bayonetta is valuable and worthy. We want them to say that our games are worthy because we think they're worthy because they need to have more social justice and better representation. Da 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 da. And so those two together are working as a team. One is the megaphone, the other one is the social engineer, and so one spins the propaganda, the other one broadcasts it, and they push to change an industry that they're both indifferent to, and for their own purpose, so that they can reap the benefits of the system that they put in place. And obviously, that's not. There's no benefit there for the gamer, for the general public, and they really don't give a shit. They're just going to make it for them, and without consideration of the industry as a whole. These idiots that are anti-Gamergaters who just completely knock Gamergaters no matter what we say, no matter how reasonable we are, and they'll be the first ones when the jackboots come through and completely tear through the industry, change it all, dumb down the games, take away the ability for people to really get the games that they were used to, the games that they like, the games that they will enjoy, and try and turn it into this artistic merit and social justice, determinate, as to worth and all that kind of thing. They'll be the first ones to complain. They better not try and come back to the people who tried to support them at Gamergate. They better not. So that's really where the social justice warriors and the journalists are interlinked. So when you talk about, oh, you just said it was ethics and gaming and whatever, blow it out your ass. I mean, in all honesty, yes, it is about journalistic ethics. And if there was journalistic ethics, we wouldn't have this problem in the first place. We wouldn't have them teaming up with these numpties. So the social justice warriors need to be pushed out, and the journalists need to be punished. It's really not that difficult, and people who are still struggling with this really need to get their head around it quickly. Thanks a lot for your time. Bye.